Coming up on this episode, an island nation full of ancient technological mysteries, missing persons, and some sus Minecraft references.
Let me tell you a story, darling, of haunted mansions, aliens, conspiracy theories, demons, and Sasquatch. Cozy and strange.
Oh, welcome to episode 4. This is Cozy and Strange. I am Aaron.
I'm Jessica.
And today we are going to descend into the underworld. Like
What?
Orpheus. Yes, we're going to go to the island of Malta, which is south of Sicily in the Mediterranean.
Wow.
This is a very weird place.
I don't even know what to expect. Okay.
So yeah, I've been keeping this one secret for a while. So the island of Malta has the most megalithic, Neolithic structures in the entire world. They have more ancient structures clustered in the smallest land space of anywhere.
On an island.
Yeah, on several islands. We're not going to go into each one of the things, but one island of Gozo has this stone structure called Gigantea and was supposedly made by a giant.
Oh.
And but today we're talking about the Malta Hypogeum. And that's Greek. I was like, what's a hypogeum? So hypo means under and G means earth. So it means under earthum.
Okay.
So, in 1902 is where we begin our tale.
Oh, okay.
Some workmen were digging a well, and they cracked into the ceiling of the Hypogeum. And I don't know if one of them fell in or some of them, they went down in there and they found bones galore. And they were completely freaked out. And they're...
Wait, okay, so they're digging and they
Yes.
fall through hole or
yes.
some cavern,
Yes.
something. Okay, and they land on bones.
They land on bones.
And it's dark and everything.
Yeah, it was
and-
like an Indiana Jones kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking
Definitely,
of.
yeah. And the structure of this place is carved in limestone, and
Oh.
it's super ancient. It's like older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge. It's
What?
Yes, it kind of throws a wrench into...
Like a timeline of ancient history.
Yes, supposedly we were hunter-gatherer people, and this place is... the whole island is just a labyrinth of tunnels. Like at one point they said you could walk from one end of the island to the other in these tunnels
All underground.
and never come outside. However, the government shut down most of the tunnels due to a tragedy.
But when did they close them? Oh, okay. After they discovered this.
Yes.
Okay.
So they discovered. I'll get to the tragedy in a moment. After they discovered it, the workmen all agreed to tell no one. They didn't tell their wives. They didn't tell anybody. They kept it a secret. And one of the reasons they thought was maybe because the foreman was like, we gotta finish this deal. Don't tell anybody about all these like.
We got work to do.
Supposedly it was
we got to get paid.
one of the original estimates was like 30,000 bones. Yeah. Of
What?
30,000 bones of dead bodies from
But
ancient.
we don't know what kind of bodies yet.
Oh,
Right?
very good. You're
Okay.
jumping ahead there.
Like
So,
what kind of bodies?
however, they did tell a priest, and
Oh.
this priest, his name,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Father Emmanuel Magri, and he was an amateur archaeologist, as we all are.
Yeah.
And he also, I think he was really into folklore. He was kind of like the Grimm's fairy tale guy of the land, and he would collect all the folklore. Because, I mean, this place is like steeped in folklore. There's like
That's interesting, though, because
talks
he's
of
a
giants.
priest.
Yes. And so he started to do an excavation, and he kept a bunch of journals. And this is from like 1902 to 1903. And then he was suddenly the Vatican called him to another assignment. And as soon as he got there, he was supposedly poisoned and died. And his notebooks have disappeared
Of course they have.
into the mists of history. So I think he might have found something juicy. So
Again, just the timeline to clarify. So these workers find this. They don't tell anyone but the priest. And then the priest is like, I'm going to go out there and check. And then he hires people, or he does it himself.
yeah,
to see.
he was like the organizer.
And then all those folks know.
Well, I mean, he was the one that was putting together like the scientific papers, and then he was mysteriously called away to an emergency priest duty across the Mediterranean, and he was there for a couple days, and he supposedly was poisoned. He ate something that gave him a heart attack. So,
man,
I don't know. He's got a peanut allergy, maybe.
It gives heart attacks.
So
wow, that's
after him, there was a year where people were just ransacking the place willy nilly and stealing stuff. So
now at this point, it's known. People know of it.
I mean, it's a small island. It's not a huge population.
So people know, and they're like, let's go and check out these bones and steal some.
And so we come to the tragedy. So,
okay.
In a National Geographic issue in 1940, there's an article that talks about a group of school children with their teacher went to this site and did a little spelunking, a little exploring.
Wow.
And they were all tied together with rope, and they went deep into this structure, and apparently the rope was cut, and they got lost in there, and there was a cave-in, and there was reports that they could hear wailing and screaming for days afterward underneath the earth. Their parents could hear the children like screaming and wailing for days, and so they sent.
What?
Yeah,
that is horrifying.
It's terrible.
Oh my gosh!
And so they sent search parties to dig. And
I mean, yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, being the parent wanting to like dig and like get your kid.
We'd get the whole Harper Valley PTA down there with the picks and shovels, and like if that was Fox Mulder, I'd be down there. I wouldn't even sleep, man. I'd just be down there. Oh, that was driving me crazy. So,
and how did they get in? Is there like an opening to this tunnel system now at this point? Because it's 30 years later, 40,
where they originally had dug into. That was the opening of this underground facility.
Okay.
And so they searched for these kids and the teacher for 3 weeks, and then eventually they just said that they were good as dead and quit searching.
That's it.
So that's the legend that started this place.
That hurts my heart. That's
I
terrible.
know, right? It's terrible.
Yeah.
So after Father Emmanuel died mysteriously and his notebooks completely disappeared, we have this other guy, Themistocles Zamet, when he goes by Teme Zamet. So this guy was a bona fide archaeologist. He had training, and he was also, I think he might have been a medical doctor. He started going through these bones, and he discovered something very bizarre with the bones in his records. And we do have his records. He noticed that all of the skulls were elongated. They were of the long type.
What does that mean? Were the long type?
Yeah, so they were I think 75% longer than they were wide. So they had kind of they're like bean heads, you know? And
I guess I'm picturing a cone head, but okay.
No,
maybe
not
too
put
high.
It like aerodynamic, so they could go long ways.
Well, and like ancient Egypt, the not hieroglyphics, but the images you see, they have this elongated head, but that was I think that was the style of the
yes. Oh, so one of the theories is
or they wrapped their
one
heads.
of the theories is that they were binding infants' heads to make them elongated to
make
appear.
It look like that.
I don't know if it was like a caste thing, like if you were upper class, you had a big long bean head or something like that.
And then I wonder about your balance, and are you like?
You top heavy.
Top heavy, yeah,
knock you over. Or maybe you had to wear helmets. I don't know. It's like oblong coconut.
Yeah, like that.
The strap.
How does that work?
However, okay, so the theory of the head binding would work. However, when they examine these skulls, you know how we have sutures in the skull, like when you're born, your little sweet fontanelle is open on the top of your head. That's why you got to protect the baby's top of their head. So these skulls did not have a sagittal suture, which is the suture that goes from your forehead to the back of your head. So there's no suture there. So
None.
these skulls either had some kind of rare disease where they didn't get, which I guess is possible, where it was fused, but they found tons of skulls like this. And then also the sides of the skull, the temporal area was different than a normal human skull. So some people think that these were alien skulls.
Of course they do.
I mean, this place has got it's got everything. It's got a little everything for you.
First thought, aliens. Okay, no, my actual first thought is this is this is ancient. Like if it's older than Egypt, right?
Super old.
So is this a different like human species? Like, is it a different species?
It could be another human species. It could be one of the theories is that the island was really remote and that there was like inbreeding, and so it was a genetic defect that was like passed on, like multiplied.
That
everybody's born with a bean head,
right? And their skull is fused.
They ran out of coconuts. So let me tell you about the structure of the Hypogeum, because it's a really interesting thing. So it's 3 levels, and
wow. How do you do that?
Well, this is the thing. Supposedly these are hunter gatherers, and our wonderful archaeologists of the time said that like, oh, they carved this solid limestone that has like mineral deposits in it with deer antlers.
Oh,
and I don't think that's what happened. Because okay. So on the first level, we have this thing called the Oracle Room.
Okay, just pause. It reminds me of Minecraft, of like you're building up of what you have available. Blocks. Right, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so deer antler, like...
How do you carve...
How far do you go with that?
That's right. How do you carve bedrock with a wooden pickaxe? Exactly. It just doesn't work.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what?
They must have had netherite tools.
Yeah.
Fox Mulder would love this episode.
Yeah, he would.
So let me tell you about the Oracle Room. The description is completely carved from limestone, like hollowed out. They're not separate pieces. And this room is designed, it has like a window and it resonates sound. Like I'm into guitar making, so this is really fascinating to me. So the room is tuned to a certain frequency, and they just found this out like in 2015. They had I think somebody from UCLA. They discovered that this room is tuned to 110 hertz. So what that means is like if you were to make 110 hertz is like a low A note. So it has this little like window cut out where somebody could put their face, and that's the focus of the room. And if you put your head in this hole and hum a low A note, the whole room will vibrate, and it resonates through this entire complex. And the complex is 3 levels deep that we know of.
Wow.
And it creates like it's an echo chamber basically.
Incredible. And so you can hear the hum or the vibration throughout the entire because it's basically the whole island, right? Because it's underground.
Yeah. I don't know if it goes through the whole island, but it creates fractal nonlinear resonance. And I was like, oh, that's a bunch of words. What does that mean? So I asked ChatGPT, and it says it's basically sonic technology that creates like a standing wave of sound. And I'm gonna do a little Mr. Wizard. I have a prop. This is
Mr. Wizard.
High quality audio here. I have a wine glass full of water.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the trick where you run your finger around the wine glass and to make it vibrate, because that's basically what this room does. It's just basically like the wine glass. So anybody that's not familiar with this trick, you take a wine glass and you fill it with some water, and you get your finger kind of wet so it's grippy, and then you run it around the rim of the glass. I'm going to do it right now. Hopefully this won't take forever. And then it should resonate when I get it right. You got to kind of feel for it. But once you get it going, it'll... That was way cooler in my mind. So basically this room will vibrate, and you can feel it in your whole body apparently. Like it like resonates to your chest. Some neuroscientists have investigated this, what happens when you expose your brain to 110 hertz, and it gets you kind of confused, and it makes you lose track of time. It can put you in a like a theta state, like for meditation or something, or healing, or I don't know what. But it's very bizarre. And this room, the geometry involved to create a room like this is insane. Like,
right, that's incredible.
I don't even know if we have the technology to do this kind of thing today. And supposedly this is older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, and that these hunter-gatherer people created this
carved this out in stone.
Yeah.
And did the mathematical...
They supposedly didn't have the wheel. They didn't have metal tools, which I think is BS, because like obviously this level of sophistication is off the charts.
I think it's weird as well. So there's that, but then why is there a pile of bones? Like if they're a sophisticated civilization, whether or not they're hunter and gatherers, like clearly they're more sophisticated than that. Like whatever their burial.
So we have a first-hand account of the Hypogeum. from a woman who was...
What? Where? Well, I'm just curious about the bones. Are they still there? Did they...
Yeah, they're still there. There's
really?
Lots of the bones are still
they
there.
Just left it there?
I was going to take you through like a firsthand account of a woman that went in 1935. She's a British actress and diplomat, and some people speculate that she might have been a spy. I don't know. She lived on the island of Malta for a couple of years, and there's evidence of her passport. That's how I know she was actually there. And I'll get to that later. When I was researching it, I ran into kind of a weird information wall.
Oh, okay. It must be beautiful there, I would think.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, it's like Amalfi Coast kind of beautiful. So this woman's name is Constance Lois Jessup.
Okay.
And she was an adventuring lady. I think this lady's pretty cool. I don't know if she ever got married or anything, but she was a world traveler, and she made friends with the Dalai Lama and President Reagan, apparently. And so in 1935, she's on the island of Malta, and her friends, it's like, I guess it's hot. It's, Mediterranean heat. And they decided, it'd be so cool to go down to this underground thing that everybody's talking about. And it'd be nice and cool down there. Yeah. So she talks about going into the entrance, and I guess at this time, it doesn't have like a museum shop or anything. It's just like this raw, open tomb looking place.
Yeah. And this is pre-tragedy as well, because this is 1935-ish.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so she talks about it like going into like this hole in the earth, and that it smells kind of musty and damp. But as soon as... Oh my
goodness. I'm getting like creeped out just picturing that. And then, just so you have to take a rope down there and just jump in.
Yeah, well, I think you can walk in on the first level, and so she talks about being musty and damp. But then as soon as she steps into it, it's not damp or musty at all.
Huh.
And so she notices that the whole thing is just carved out of solid limestone. There's not individual pieces; it's all just carved. And she sees lots of art on the walls. They have these kind of like red ochre swirls, kind of like a swirly thing. There's all kinds of murals and there's like wavy lines and diamond patches. And they have a guide named Joe. I guess there's a local guy named Joe is her guide. And he hands her and her friends these candles. He gives each one of them a lighted candle. And he's kind of like, you got to stay close because this place is dangerous. And
sure, you can get lost.
So first he takes them down to the first floor, and she sees the oracle room, and they play around with the oracle room, and she notices how resonant it is. It just like picks up sound, and she actually slips on a little step in there, and she gives out a little yelp, like, ah! And then it like echoes, and she must have hit that right frequency, and she noticed how it just echoed through the whole facility. It's almost like a loudspeaker. So then Joe...
So weird. What's the purpose of that? I guess they don't know.
They don't know. I mean, it's like, I think it's beyond our technology, honestly. Like, we don't know that much about audio acoustic stuff or like healing properties.
I think there's more research going into that now.
Oh, yes, totally.
But
totally.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
true.
it was like 2015 when that UCLA study, and like, I don't know if it has some kind of consciousness things. Like, who knows? Maybe they were talking to aliens or having out-of-body experiences, or I don't know. Who knows what?
Something.
So they go down into the second level, and it leads to a circular stone table and an altar. And then on the sides of the rooms, there's these little dug-in things. And Jessup goes and takes a look, and they kind of look like little beds. Like they're like flat little alcoves, and there's bunches of them carved into the wall. And so she was kind of speculating that, it looked like maybe that's where somebody would sleep or something, because it didn't look like where you would put bones, like like
a burial sort of
thing.
Yeah,
it didn't look like a burial thing. It actually looked like a sleeping chamber kind of thing. And then she was kind of judging the length of it, and it's only like 4 foot deep. So whatever slept in there was
short.
Yeah, it's not very big. And she was thinking like kind of like pygmy size or something.
Okay.
And I think she like questions Joe, and Joe's like, I don't know. So they go down again, down to the third level. She sees a narrow passage with slits in the walls, and she looks through one slit, and she sees all the bones, and she's like tons and tons of bones.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and she's like,
What's this?
And he's like, that's where they buried their dead. And so she's
just in a mass like pile,
No, I think it's more organized, and the skeletons are more organized. And then she looks through the other wall. The other wall has this giant 3 foot thick stone door that's like 4 feet high and 4 feet wide, and there's a little slit. And she looks through there, and there's more bones. And he's like, that's where they kept the prisoners.
What?
I know. I was like, what?
How? What?
Yeah. And
also, I'm thinking it must be lit, right? Because how would you see through these slits?
I guess with her candle, she could see through, or
because the candle would be on her side, right? So to get to see through the wall through a slit, it's got to be lit somewhere.
Well,
unless she can put the candle through. If it's big
and then the
enough to
walls
put her
apparently
hand
had
in.
like a high crystal content, so they might have been reflective or something. I don't know. There's a lot of quartz in the limestone or something. I don't know. That's a good point. Now at this point they're on the third lowest floor, and Joe is like, okay, this is the end of the tour. We must now turn and retrace our steps. Okay. And then Jessup sees one little door at the end of the room, and she's like, oh, what's down there? I wanna see what's down there. And he's like, oh, if you go there, you go at your own risk and you won't go far. And she's like, oh,
what does that mean?
Like Joe's like, not gonna do it. You didn't pay me enough to take you down there. So
what?
Yeah, so Jessup, she's wearing kind of like a playful summer dress in a kitten heel with a long sash, right?
Very specific.
Yeah,
okay.
Very specific. Well, the fact that she has the sash, that's the point that I know. And so she has her friends.
So she's like doing this tour in kitten heels?
She's a sassy lady.
Yeah.
I like Jessup. She's kind of like a female Indiana Jones or something.
I have a feeling she did not meet Reagan if this happened in 35 and you're setting this up to something with the sash that she's wearing.
No, yeah.
Does
like
she
she goes around the corner and Reagan's there. Like,
no, like
eating some
if
jelly
she
beans.
survived whatever it is that you're talking about, I'm like, wait a minute. So she must have survived whatever was going on, right?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
So
I'm jumping ahead. What happened?
So she goes down this little tunnel. It's so narrow that, and they're also very low. You have to like crouch down because all of the ceiling is like the door is in the tunnels.
That
are
makes
low.
sense because the beds were so short.
Yeah, so it's made
whatever those slits.
for little people. So she goes one by one, and she's in the front with her candle. Her friends are behind her, holding her sash, kind of like a rope, and she enters out onto a ledge, and on her left is a stone wall. It's just solid wall, and the ledge is like 2 feet wide.
Okay.
And then to her right is a sheer drop.
What?
Of 50 feet down into darkness. And I don't know how she knows. I mean, maybe she can see down below.
What? And she's like, I'm going to go with my kitten heels with my friends.
So she pauses,
walk this. It is Indiana Jones. That's what this is.
Yeah. And so she comes out onto this ledge and immediately stops, right? And her friends are like stuck in the tunnel behind her because she's like, oh my God, I almost fell off this 50-foot drop. And she holds her candle up with her right hand and she looks down below to see how far down it goes. And she sees a doorway and 20 persons of giant stature in single file walk along this narrow ledge down at the bottom of this 50-foot thing. And she judged these people to be about 20 or 25 feet tall. Like, we're talking giants, like a 2-story building, right? This is the bonkers part. Yes!
How's her depth perception? That's the first question, right? Because she's like up high and she's looking down and like, what?
This is directly...
Are these alive giant people?
This is from an article that
walking
she
around?
Wrote. Yeah. So this is from an article that she wrote. I'm quoting directly from the article. And it says, their heads came up about halfway from the opposite wall. And I can give you the description. You really want to know what these things look like, don't you?
It's just like...
So they're like 20 to 25 feet tall.
Yeah.
They're pasty white. It says, their coverings seem to be like long white hair combed downward and shaggy looking. So I'm thinking like kind of like pasty white Cousin It looking thing.
Yeah.
And so their heads were oval and elongated at the chin and the top.
Okay.
And the hair on their heads fell about their shoulders and draped like a monk's cowl.
Okay.
So they all had like the Rachel from the 90s.
Like, I'm confused.
It's bizarre,
so
right?
they're these beings are alive.
Yes, they're alive.
Okay.
And they came out and they were all single file. They were moving very slowly. They're all lined up against this wall.
Is there even enough space for them?
And so, well, I guess it's a really narrow thing. It's like down, there's like this 50-foot drop. And then on the other side of the drop, she can see this little walkway that's 50 feet down. And then these things come out and they're halfway up this drop.
Right.
So they're like, so that's how she guesstimated they're like 20 feet high or something, 25 feet high.
I don't know if she's that great at like measuring by.
Okay. Well, it gets weird. So They all simultaneously turn to her, raise their arms, and with their hands, they beckon her. The movement was something like a snatching or a feeling for something as the palms of their hands were face down. Terror rooted me to the spot.
Is what she said.
Yes. And then her friends are all like, hey, we're stuck in the passage. What's going on? And she's like, there's not much to see here. So her candle was in her right hand, and she put her left hand on the wall to steady herself. However, her hand was not touching cold, hard rock, but it was touching something soft and wet.
Ew!
And it moved.
What?
And then a strong gust of wind came from nowhere and blew her candle out.
Of course.
And so now she's standing there in complete darkness with those creepy ass things, touching some soft, wet, moving thing on the left, which was a wall.
Ew.
And so she says, "Go back, go back, go back," and starts pushing her friends. She's like, "My candle's gone out, I can't see." And so they're like, "Ah!" And she's like pushing her friends with her butt, like, and they grab her sash and pull her out because they think she's dying or something. And they all stumble back into the original room, and their friends are like, "What did you see? What did you see?" And she's like, "Oh." Completely flustered. She's like, "My candle went out. I didn't see anything." And as she's saying this, she meets Joe's eyes, and Joe gives her this look like he knows exactly what she saw, and he gives her this look like, "Don't say anything about that." Right? Not in a threatening way, but like.
So Joe knows.
Apparently, Joe knows. Right? And that's why he was kind of like, "You can go down there, lady, at your own risk, but you're not gonna go far. You ain't gonna like what you see."
Wow.
Yeah.
Why are they doing tours in this place?
It's the 1930s.
You could just go the first few floors.
Joe was making
some
soda pop money or something.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, Joe they have a moment where Joe and her are kind of like looking at each other like, Joe's like, "I know what you saw." They quietly get out of the Hypogeum. They go back up, and
this is just weird because we have shorter statured people that are only like 4 feet tall
with no sutures in their heads.
Nothing.
And their elongated
and now
skulls.
we have 20 to 25.
Now we have big pasty white shaggy mole people, Morlock giants that apparently have telekinesis or some kind of wavy hand business.
Weird.
I don't know. Some people speculate that they're blind because they're like underground people. Okay, so they make it out of the Hypogeum, and Joe kind of like grabs her and pulls her aside, and he's like, "Hey, if you're really interested in exploring this further, it would be wise to join a group." And he's like, "There's a group of school children that are going in next week, and I can have you go with them if you just give me your information." And
what? Okay.
So, yeah, he's like, "Oh, a local school teacher is going to take a bunch of school kids."
Why are they allowing that? Why?
This is like, that's the group. That's the group that disappears.
No, I get it. Yeah. But I'm just, why... Like, okay, so at least Joe, if not more people, know that these whatever is in there.
Yeah.
And let's bring some school children in.
Well, I mean, it was the 30s. Like, people, it was just like, "Hey, let's go see this weird, creepy anomaly place." And I guess, like, the government was just like, whatever. Now it's totally different. This place still exists, and you can actually go there. However, let me finish.
All the giants moved out.
Let me finish Jessup's story.
Okay.
So Joe is like, "Hey, if you're really interested, you should come back next week because I'm going to go there. The school teacher wants to take all the kids there." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, that would be great," because she's like creeped out, but also very interested. And so she gives Joe her information. She said, "Please pass my information along to the school teacher and have them contact me. I want to go." So I think a couple weeks go by. She goes back to England, or she ended up moving to the United States, so maybe she's in the U.S. And her sister lived in Malta, and she's like, "Hey, I saw in the paper that, you remember you said you were gonna go check out the Hypogeum with the school children? Well, they all got killed in there." And she's like, "This," and she showed her the newspaper story of where they all went missing. And that completely chilled her, and she noticed that like the rope was cut, and that like how did that work?
Right.
And having been in there, she was like, "That doesn't make any sense."
So this happened because you mentioned the 1940s National Geographic thing.
Yes.
So that was much after when it actually happened.
I think it happened. It from her story, it sounds like it happened like a month or something later. So like from 1935 to 1940 is when we get this thing.
Okay.
However, so let's get into when I was researching this, because I wanted to dig down and see like what is BS and what is real. I ran into a really kind of existential crisis because I was using ChatGPT a lot and asking it for information. And I was like, tell me about this Lois Jessup.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, who is she? She's kind of the key. She has the main story. And ChatGPT was like, oh, that's not a real person. And I was like, what? I was like, and I Googled it and I'm getting all this information. And then I went to Claude and was like, hey, and Claude was like, oh yeah, she's a real person. She was born on this date. She died on this date. There's records of her passport in Malta. She worked for the British Embassy briefly. Apparently in the 80s, she gave some money to the Republican Party.
So then maybe she did meet him.
Yeah. Anyway, and so that's another weird thing that supposedly she gave a $2 donation and then there was a clerical mishap and it recorded as her giving like $200,000 or something. Wow. And so she was immediately ushered into the inner circle of Reagan's Republican donor party. So she got invited to all these like fancy balls and stuff.
That's cool.
And, but again, she worked for the British Embassy, so I don't know. But anyway, so I had this kind of existential crisis, and I was like trying to figure out. I wanted to find the newspaper article of the kids missing. I wanted to find her article because like I kept running across. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, this article," and then I wanted to see the National Geographic article as well. And so I started going down this rabbit hole, and I couldn't find anything. And ChatGPT was like, "Oh, she didn't exist. It's just it's an urban legend." And I was like, "Whoa!" And then I found another source that said it did. And then I had this epiphany, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, since everything is digital now, whoever decided the information you have access to, they could just like delete it or not give you access to it and say, "Oh, that never happened." And then what recourse would you have? So like, entireties of histories could be completely removed from, you know, public information, and then your only recourse would be to go to a brick and mortar library and try to find like actual books that haven't been thrown away or burned or whatever. I don't know. So like, it gave me kind of a creepy feeling of like, man, we're heading into this like digital age, but like if we don't have actual libraries where you can go and physically find information, it would be very easy to like control the narrative of whatever you want, you know, because like apparently ChatGPT doesn't know about any of this. Thank God that Claude did. I was like, oh man, you know, that's not a endorsement for Claude or against ChatGPT. I like them both, but so yeah, it was just kind of bizarre. So I did find Jessup. And she was a real person. She was in the 60s. She told this story to a guy that was kind of like an aggregator of interesting tales. And
she sounds like she was long lived. Like how long?
Yeah, she lived into her 80s. It
sounds like
that.
It. Yeah.
So there was cool fringe groups even in the 60s. It was the New York Saucer Information Bureau.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They know how to party, I'm sure. There was a guy named Riley Crabb, and he had a magazine called Borderlands Science Magazine, and he was part of the New York Saucer Information Bureau. And so she gave a speech on what she saw, and I guess originally it wasn't an article. And he was like really interested. He's like, "Wow, this is fascinating. Like what you're saying is awesome." He's
well, and it's impressive that she even said this publicly or out loud.
It's been like 30 years after the fact.
Well, and this is the 60s. I mean, it's not like people could have been looking at her sideways. Like, are you?
Well, I mean, she's in the New York Saucer Information Bureau.
Well, so. yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. Good point.
I think everybody was down with the weird stuff.
Yeah, within that. But anyway, it's just like no one thought that she had mental health issues, right? So.
Yeah. So I looked to see, I thought her article was in National Geographic because everyone kept saying, oh, her article's in National Geographic. It's not. It's not there. It was in the Riley Crabb's Borderlands thing. And then she quotes an article that is in National Geographic in the 1940s by this other guy that went there in the 30s. It's called Wanderers a Wheel in Malta. And I guess he was a bicyclist and he toured Malta on bike. And the story of the children going missing was told to him by local teenagers. And it was like, whether that was an urban legend or a real thing that happened, no one can find any evidence of newspapers or anything of the children going missing in the underground. That absolutely cannot be proved. However, it's very much in the culture.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, can they find evidence that they closed it, right? Like it was no longer open to the public if
No, it's still, the Hypogeum is still open to the public today. You can go and visit this place.
Well, I understand that. I'm thinking that they reopened it because you had said something about like this tragedy happened.
Oh, so yeah, there apparently that's not the only. The whole island is just rife with like tunnels, and I think there's another Hypogeum. There's like basilicas and stuff, and they all have underground catacombs. One story says that there's a painting in one of the basilicas in a neighboring town that has the story of the children going missing, and that it is a mythical tale warning children not to go exploring.
Okay.
I know, it is weird. It doesn't really make sense.
Because this is like not that long ago, less than 100 years ago.
Yes. There's lots of things that don't make sense with this story. Okay, so I guess I
thought the government got involved in some way.
They did. So they run the Hypogeum, and I emailed the Hypogeum. I wanted to ask them. I'm sure they're really annoyed by people asking about the conspiracy theories. I emailed them, wanted to get some clarification on things. They never emailed me back. I did find they had a page that was like supposedly debunking things, but it really didn't debunk anything. It was just like saying that, like, oh, there's 3 floors to the Hypogeum. There is no floor that Jessup went on. That they said that part of it is flooded during certain times of the year, I guess, and they said, oh, maybe her candle disoriented her and she thought she saw some giant pasty Morlock mole people, giant,
But really, it was just water.
Maybe she just thought that they tried to magically eat her or something, So I never heard back from them. They only allow 80 people at the Hypogeum. You have to make reservations far in advance. No 6-year-olds are allowed. You have to be older than 6 because I guess you're too delicious. If you the tour, I don't know if this is true or not, but one website said the tour is mostly in silence and you're not allowed to mess around with the Oracle Room. Like you can kind of make noise in there a little bit. Yeah, it's mostly like a headphone guided tour.
I wonder if it's too disorienting or kind of like off-putting or
I don't know, or they don't want you calling the creepy giant people,
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, and so
did they ever find the bodies of the children in the
No. There was no bodies ever recovered. There's
no teacher.
No teacher. Again, all of that stuff. However, okay, so let me get to all the bones.
Yeah.
The bones are very weird. The Oracle Room is a technology that's out of time, out of place, doesn't make sense.
Right.
The bones don't make sense. This stuff is verifiable. So I guess after they started to make it more of a tourist area, they would have the bones on display. They were I think there were 12 or 11 skulls that they had on display, and each one of them had weird stuff going on. Like none of them had the sagittal suture. There was a guy in the 50s, I think, or 60s, and he took photographs. He was a medical student, and he was fascinated by him. And he took photographs of all the skulls, and he was studying them from anatomy and physiology perspective. And he was like, okay, these are so weird. I don't know if these are human. And he was trying to compare with like what a normal skull would be.
Right.
And then starting in the 1950s, they started slowly taking the skulls out of view. Oh. I don't even know if you can see anymore. And the official word is that there was a debate whether or not they should show human remains at a tourist site. I know, right? Like, give me a break. I mean, when you go to like the Egyptian museum, there's like, I don't know.
I don't know about that. Yeah. Well, what about the rest of the bones though? So the skulls were odd, but what about the rest of the bones?
Well, there's wild speculation about this. Some say that Magri, the Father Magri guy that died mysteriously, that he found weird dinosaur bones and stuff in there. He found alien bones, maybe giant bones. I don't know. He found some kind of non-human bones, right? Okay. But we'll never know because his research disappeared along with him.
Right.
And then the guy after him did find the elongated skulls. He didn't find any other weird stuff. However, those bones have been slowly taken away from public view.
Okay.
I did hear an interview with the guy that had the photographs of it, and he's like, I cannot get access. He's like, he has tried to get access, and it's locked behind a academic wall. Like, you have to be, I don't know, the king of academia to get in there.
So they are somewhere, but then who's in charge?
They're probably in the Smithsonian with all the other giant bones. I don't know.
So somebody decided to take all these out. They're somewhere stored somewhere, but then I guess no one's studying these.
Yeah, and then they're also, I did hear something that a lot of them are so old that they're actually like disintegrating. So like, I mean, if they're thousands and thousands of years old, like, I don't know.
That's why I was kind of curious of like the rest of the bones that are part of the body. Like, are there extra, less? Are they different shape? You know, like how tall?
We can't get access to it.
Yeah.
Right. They won't let you have access to it. And like, yeah, it's some people say that you have to do the tour in silence. There's definitely no cameras, no phones, and they're saying it's like to preserve the environment with the amount of like carbon dioxide is like deteriorates the limestone, the beautiful limestone, and like the humidity, and having all these people in there. I think it's weird that that you have to do it completely like in silence. Whether that's true, I don't know. And they also say that you're definitely now not allowed to sprinkle yourself with tasty spices like paprika, garlic, honey, smoky barbecue, because the giants will find you too tasty, want to eat you up. So I don't know. So that's the story. I think I covered everything. What do you think?
I think it's weird.
It's totally weird.
The short answer is it's weird. I don't know about like I don't understand the alive beings, whatever they looked like, whatever the height is. Like how are they people alive when this place was closed for thousands of years?
Okay, so that kind of just like we tapped into the ceiling of the Hypogeum at the beginning in 1902, we're kind of tapping into other conspiracy theories. This is the hole goes deep.
Okay.
So that kind of these whole like giant Morlock people goes into. I didn't want to go into too much detail. That might be for another episode. But the whole theory of hollow Earth, that the Earth has all of these like blank spaces within it, that there's entire communities of weird things that I know it's very very deep conspiracy theory. You gotta put your tinfoil hat on. So like
I don't know if geologists would like agree with it.
Yeah, well okay, so it's like some people say that there's like in Antarctica at like the poles, there's like giant hole in the earth, and if you look at Google Earth, it's all blurred out on Antarctica.
Have you checked?
Yeah, it's blurred out. You can't see anything.
Really?
Yeah, and so that there's a giant hole that goes like our Earth is actually hollow.
What?
And that you can go in there, and there's like advanced societies living in the Earth. I know. Totally bananas. I'm just saying that
that's the
Morlock thing with these giants, or that they're remnants of Atlantean survivors, that there was some great world catastrophe and everybody was pushed underground, and so these giant things that have adapted, like weird telepathic powers, and some of them say that they're good, and some of them say that they're completely debased and they eat humans and all this kind of stuff. I
don't get the height. Okay, let's just say all of this is real. All right,
I have an explanation for that.
Society, like how are they so like
so
how
they're
are
saying
they?
That they're one theory, and these are all conspiracy theories, so they're gonna sound bananas.
Okay,
I'm laying them out. And I'm not saying you have to believe in any of this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you options. So,
like the options.
That the giant race is the progeny of angels and humans, and they created the
okay, but
the Nephilim.
Still,
the Nephilim are like giant hybrids of angels and humans.
I guess I'm going back to evolution.
Yes.
And
science. You and your science and your facts.
But like how evolutionarily would you maintain that large of a size underground? You know what I mean?
That's why you got to start eating humans, man, because you need a lot of...
what are they eating to maintain that? Like how, like also like
I left out an important part.
There's got to be a ceiling at some point, right? Because you're underground.
I left out an important part of the Jessup story. You just reminded me.
Okay.
So Jessup did go back like months later.
Okay.
And she went and found a guide, and they found a guide with her sister.
Not Joe.
Well, she said, "Hey, where's Joe?" And the guide is like, "Joe who?" And she's like, "Joe, the guide I use." And and the guide is like, "I've been the only guide here guiding people for years. There is no Joe."
That's
dun
weird.
dun dun.
That's weird. And this Mystery Joe knew about the.
Well, I wonder if maybe he was like
girls.
Gonna feed them to the giants or something, you know? Like he's
because he was like, go at your own risk. He wasn't like, come
that's
over
true.
here.
Yeah,
know?
but maybe he was like, he's like, I got this this platter of school children I'm gonna serve up later. Like he wasn't ready for it, you know? Like he was.
That's strange. So then the guy that she then saw didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah,
and then she said, and they went down to the area and it was all boarded up. And she said, is that where the children went missing? And the new guide was like, oh. You know what I mean? So like, okay, so when you were saying like, let's stick to the world of science. Well, I mean, clearly the world of science does not know everything because they're saying if you stick to the book of science.
Even that. I'm not saying stick to the science. Yeah. I'm just wondering, like literally, concretely.
Yes.
How are you 25 feet tall underground? Because at some point, I'm thinking of like a goldfish
so in
lots
of calories.
In an aquarium, right?
Yeah.
Like you grow to the size of and then you stop growing. Yeah. Like these people or whatever, these creatures or beings can only go so big that they are bigger than what we can maintain here on the surface. Right?
Are you
know
talking
what I mean?
like in terms of like enough
their
energy?
Height. Oh. No, even just their height.
Oh, you
like
think
the
it was like
sheer mass.
It would kill him. The gravity would kill him or something.
No, not even gravity. I mean, like growing the size of the area you have available to you.
Oh, okay. Well,
you know what I mean?
Would indicate that
because they're too high, they're too tall.
Well, that would indicate that the underground tunnels are massive. That they have
something.
Yeah. So,
right. Because
I mean, again,
here on the surface where we have the sky, we're not that tall. You know what I mean? Like that. Well, there's that bit,
and indicate that they're not human, obviously.
And then the other bit is, it doesn't matter if they're human or not. Yeah. Like my point is, like,
how could they get that big?
Right. Like it doesn't make sense.
I know. None of it makes sense.
And then the other bit is, the calories. Like what are they eating to maintain the size?
Yeah.
But my
cave mushrooms got a lot of calories, a lot of protein, bro.
See, that's why I'm like, no.
So again, all of this Morlock stuff comes from one source. It comes from C. Lois Jessup, and again, she was presenting something to the New York Saucer Bureau of Information. So I don't know. I mean, she's a fascinating character. It was really difficult to find information about her, and I was kind of concerned that she wasn't actually a real person. The whole thing, I did dig down and figured out the National Geographic situation. The guy Crab that wrote the article of her story and then attributed the article to her. So I don't know if she actually wrote it or if she told him the story and then he basically transcribed it.
Right.
They make reference to the National Geographic, and the National Geographic has two different stories in it about Malta and these underground caverns, and then also these giantess churches and stuff. Another thing about National Geographic is I've heard that early in the 40s they put a lot of like fantastic fiction in there too.
Sure, yeah.
So that like National Geographic wasn't just a fact thing like we knew it in the 70s, and a place where an inquisitive young man could get a good look at some boobs.
Right.
It was either that or the Sears catalog underwear section. I mean, we didn't have a lot. This was before the internet, so you had to really try if you wanted to see some boobs. So, but.
Yeah. So
it's a weird one. Yeah.
I did have a thought and then I got distracted by boobs. So
yeah, they are distracting. Any other thoughts?
What I was thinking was, I mean, it's been since 1902. Has anybody been able to actually map it all out?
I think it's I think it's very easily mapped out because I mean it's got like a little gift shop and stuff. You can like go see it and I don't know that any skulls are on display. I wanted to ask them those questions, but they never emailed me back. I'm sure they probably thought I'm like, I'm with a podcast about weird and creepy things. They were like, oh great, not this guy.
Yeah, this guy. So because like in France, the catacombs, they're not all totally mapped out. You know what I mean? So if this place is massive but not, I was thinking originally when you were talking about it, is it as big as the island? It's not.
No, the Hypogeum itself, it's just 3 3 floors, and then apparently the 3 floors were a mirror of something that was up on top, I guess.
Oh.
It doesn't exist anymore.
That's interesting.
They said it was each of the floor was a copy of something that sat on the surface.
Huh.
And as of
I wonder
now,
how they know that.
the description that I've heard of is like you just walk down a regular street and it doesn't look like anything, and then you walk into this building and then all of a sudden it goes down. It's like you're in the underworld.
Yeah.
You know? But it is kind of weird how they've taken away some of the access, you know.
Yeah.
And it's tightly controlled, and that could just be for like
safety,
you know, preservation
maybe.
and safety and stuff like that. It could be a totally normal reason, and Jessup's story could be total BS. I don't know, but one thing I think is fascinating is the skulls. Those are real. There's something weird about them. A lot of people speculate that they're alien skulls.
Sure.
And then the technology of the Oracle Room, that is
incredible.
Incredible.
It
and
really
just
is.
alone, if that's the only part of this story that's true, the fact that they created a room that is tuned like a guitar box is tuned to a certain note, and that it can, it creates a standing wave of sound that resonates and grows like the wine glass thing. That blows my mind. Like, I mean, and that's real. And you can go and anyone can easily see and demonstrate that. Nobody knows what the purpose of it is. They said it was for healing. I don't know. It could be like a consciousness thing. Who knows with the elongated skulls?
Thing.
Maybe that was some kind of priest class, and maybe they don't have sutures because the way they bound the heads. And maybe somebody speculated that by binding your head like that, you would do something weird to your brain. Sure. And then if you go and bathe in 110 hertz, maybe you can, I don't know, create phantasms that look like giants or something, or I don't know, or transcend this mortal plane. Or
so when Jessup was there, she the Joe who doesn't exist, so he said this is the third floor, third level, and then she looked down even deeper.
Yes. Okay.
So there's
there's other speculation. You can't go on the third floor now. It's restricted. You can only go on the first 2 floors. Yeah.
And
so
do they say why? Just
preservation.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And so
employees only.
Yeah, I know, right? There's speculation that people have tapped on the 3rd floor, and then it sounds hollow in places. That it hints that it goes deeper. And then the big conspiracy theory is that these tunnels that are all over go all the way to the Vatican in Rome, because the Rome has all these catacombs underneath it, and that there was a huge underground society. And then when we put things like Göbekli Tepe, I haven't talked to you about that, but it's just a giant underground city, and Derinkuyu, and all of these massive prehistoric underground cities, that it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities that these catacombs could have gone further all
the way.
One thing that is interesting,
that'd be under the ocean, because it's an island.
What's interesting is on the surface they have all of these crisscross. They look like cart ruts in the stone, and they actually go into the ocean and they come up on other places. They come up on. I don't know if they come up on the mainland of Italy, but they definitely cross the ocean, and they're under the water too, and they're all over Malta. These crisscross, and people are saying, archaeologists that tell us that these people didn't have anything but antler tools and dug this limestone thing. They say, these are cart tracks, and that this is evidence of trade. However, other people have looked at them, and they don't look like that. They could, I don't know, they could be
a tool of some sort,
or they could have dragged. There's lots of giant Neolithic thing, and when I say giant, I'm talking like 50-ton stones that I don't know how these prehistoric people could have moved this stuff and created one of the earliest known solar calendars in one of the temples on the island. I don't know if it's on the island of Gozo or if it's on Malta. There's just weird stuff going on there. The technology is beyond what archaeologists tell us should be there. Like the way they move these giant stones, the Oracle Room. There's lots of things they just don't know. Like, what are all these tracks all over the place? How did these ancient cultures create an accurate solar calendar? This thing lines up with the sun. Like, they have holes carved in the stones, and when the sun moves across the sky, it goes across the room in a specific way, and it's not by accident. It's like definitely not. So they had sophisticated knowledge about astronomy, and I mean, it was just way too sophisticated and way too early. We're talking like pre-Egyptian, talking pre-Stonehenge, and the level of technology is just, I don't know. That's why I like this story. I thought you'd get a kick out of it, and then really it has the weird spooky-ooky part too.
Well, yeah.
Even spooky part aside, just the actual facts of the case are mind blowing to me. So I don't know. Any other thoughts? We can come back in the plus edition. And see.
I was gonna say not right now, but I'm sure there will be because I'm gonna percolate. Yeah. It's really interesting. It just reminds me of other conspiracy theories that I was aware of as a child. I'm not as
like what?
I mean, aliens, right? Yeah. Like Stargate stuff. So, I don't know. Well, not Stargate specifically, but it reminds me of Stargate, like the movie. But yeah, I mean, just like coming here and building the all the things that we can't.
Who built this stuff?
We can't.
Like one of the
explain.
stories I didn't get into it is that a giant fell to earth and she built all these things. Oh, they also found in the temple there's religious artifacts. They found a statue of a very juicy plus size woman laying on her side. She's laying on her side with a little pillow, and she's got big wide hips and she's very boobylicious. And they call it the sleeping lady. And they found that, and they kind of think they found that along with a bunch of stone phalluses, like a box of stone wieners.
Yeah, got it.
And so they think that it might have been a fertility cult or a fertility goddess or something, and that it might have been a matriarchal society too. I mean, I don't know. I think you can see the sleeping lady statue. That's like widely available. Yeah. But I just kind of stuck to the main aspects of it. But
yeah,
I think it was fascinating.
Yeah,
so.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it right there, and we'll get back to you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
They talk,